Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention please? For the arrival of Their Excellencies the Governor-General of the Commonwealth of Australia and Lady Cosgrove.
Good afternoon and welcome. Lynn and I welcome you to Admiralty House. Let me start by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we meet, the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, and I pay my respects to their elders, past and present. To Ms Elizabeth Carr, Chairman of the Macular Disease Foundation of Australia, Ms Julie Heraghty, CEO of the Foundation, distinguished academics and researchers, guests of the Foundation, ladies and gentlemen, and especially tonight the recipients of the research grants. For those who haven't been here before, a very warm welcome, and I hope you have the opportunity to enjoy this wonderful house. Been here for so many years, and the Governor-General's Sydney residence for quite a long while now. Normally I'd say on such a fine Sydney afternoon that you should go wandering out onto we call it the croquet lawn. I don't think croquet's been played there for a long while, but there is a nesting plover, and for that reason you'll see the lawn's a little longer because the poor old gardeners didn't want to upset the plover. And if you go out onto that lawn, you'll get dive bombed. So I suggest this veranda's safe, but out there, peek around the corner and you'll see the plover looking hysterical, and we just want to give it a little bit of space. Righto, on with the more serious stuff. Well, welcome to the presentation of the 2015 Macular Disease Foundation Research Grants on what is quite fittingly World Sight Day. To this audience, it sounds banal to say our eyesight is so critical to our lives in so many ways, whether it's for reading, working, driving, looking at a computer screen, or simply for seeing the ones we love and appreciating the world around us. We take it so much for granted. Sight's such a vital part of life. We all take it for granted. So looking after our sight, protecting it and understanding it is so important. And this is where the research of the Macular Disease Foundation comes in, because we know that macular degeneration is the leading cause of blindness and vision loss in Australia. We know that over 1 million Australians have some form of macular degeneration. And we know that without action, this number will be closing in on 2 million by 2030. I was a proud board member of a major Australian corporation, and we had this tremendous young woman who was the company secretary. And she was admired by every board member and a lovely person, so great affection for this woman. So hardworking, so professional, so spot on with her advice to the company through some quite challenging episodes where our corporate compliance and responsibility was key, and she kept us safe and guided and advised. And then the chairman one day, in a moment when she was absent, said, "We have to say goodbye to this lady," by her name of course, "because she has macular degeneration and it will wrench her from her job." And she's being treated, and it's as good as it might be, but it is progressive. And then it turned out that this lady, a wonderful lawyer with great prospects both in the job and in the wider part of the company, was the breadwinner for her family, and that she would progressively become more disabled, and to a point where in the future she would, as a sighted person, not be able to work. She would be able to work, but as somebody who was virtually blind. So that personal story impressed us all profoundly, because it was possibly the first time that somebody so close to this group of hard-charging professional board directors had thought, well, this person's being snatched from our midst. And like so many of the big issues facing us today, We know that the answer lies with good science, with effective treatments based on cutting-edge research, and the development of strategies based on the best evidence available. And that's what these grants make possible. They focus our science on macular degeneration, and they give our world-class research community the resources and support they need to do what they do best. Past recipients have included Associate Professor Damien Harkin, who's using a protein derived from silk onto which special cells may be grown, and Associate Professor Erica Fletcher of Melbourne University, researching the possibility of developing a biomarker of disease risk. And of course, two world-claimed Australian researchers here with us today are past recipients of the Foundation's awards. The eminent Professor Paul Mitchell and Professor Robin Guymer are both adding vastly to our knowledge base in early diagnosis and disease progression, with the ultimate goal to save sight. So, in that context, Lynn and I are thrilled you're here, and I look forward to presenting the 2015 grants. Our eyesight is invaluable, and given the scale of macular degeneration across the nation, these grants are going to contribute enormously to our understanding and our treatment and our management of this condition. Once again, I say thank you to the Foundation and its entire staff for the vital work they do every day for the sight of all Australians. 2 million people by 2030. Let's work on that number. Thank you.